the resources which are available very easily, the resources which are available very easily in the nature, they are called as natural resources. The resources which fulfill our need is called as natural resources. Okay, now in the standard 6 we have studied about the air. Now air is a homogeneous mixture of gases. So what is air? Air is a homogeneous mixture of gases. And why it is called as a homogeneous mixture of gases? Because number of gases are present in the air, such as nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, oxygen, okay, sulfur dioxide. So many different constituents are present in the air. So air is called as a homogeneous mixture. So what is the use of air? Air is present everywhere. And what is the use of the air? The air is used in different gases. Different gases are used for oxygen. For example, oxygen is used for for uh, breathing for all living organisms, whereas carbon dioxide is useful for plants. Nitrogen is useful for plants. Then other such as neon, xenon, these are used in decorative lights, okay, in tube lights. So all this we have studied in standard 6. So today we are going to study about the properties of air. So as I told you, air is present everywhere. We can feel the air, and the air is a homogeneous mixture which consists of different constituents of air. So let us study how you are going to prove the properties of the air. So in this picture you can see that to a scale or to a horizontal stick, two balloons are tied. Okay, so the balloons are filled with air, and you can see both the horizontal stick is balanced because both the side the balance of the balloon is same. But if I burst one balloon or inflated one balloon, so what will happen? The stick which is horizontal, it will get imbalance, and the balloon which is having, which is filled with air, that balloon will, that side will move lower side. So what does this experiment proves? That this experiment proves that the stick which goes on the side of the inflated balloon, there the air is having weight. Okay, now when the balloons were filled with air, that time the stick was horizontal. But when the inflated balloon, when a balloon gets inflated, that time what happens? Where there is a balloon, that balloon will have a mass and weight, and the inflated side will go upper side. Okay, so this proves that the air is a mixture of gases, whereas air is having matter and it is having mass and weight. So this experiment, what does it proves? It proves that air is having mass and weight. So let us see the next activity. In the next activity, you can see the piston. Okay, most probably you can see the piston in holy, okay, or in the doctor's hand when he gives an injection. So you have to take an empty syringe which is not having a needle. So without needle, that syringe is called as a piston. Okay, now this piston you have to take, and you have to close the inlet of the syringe tightly with your thumb. So the opening of the ear, you can see, just a second, I will show you. Here at the tip of the piston, you have to keep your thumb tightly, and you have to pull the piston towards yourself. So what will happen? What will happen here actually, on pulling the piston with the inlet of the syringe, what will happen? It will be very difficult to pull the syringe backside. Why? Because passed into the syringe. There is no place for air to move into the syringe. Okay, and if the same activity I repeat by not putting my thumb towards the uh, end of the piston, what will happen? I can easily pull the piston back because the molecules of the gas, because there will be more space for the air to occupy in the syringe. Okay, so there will be more pressure inside the syringe. But when I put the thumb on the tip of the piston, what will happen? The air will be not able to enter the piston, whereas the air pressure in the piston will be very much lower than the other other side. Okay, so this is about the pistons. Now the next thing I would like to tell you, what is atmospheric pressure. When the molecules of the gas in the air are constant, as you all know that there are some small molecules present in the air, all these molecules are constant in air. But when this molecule hits a body, when the molecule hits a body, they create a pressure on that body. So take your right hand towards your left hand and hit it very hardly. What will happen? How much pressure you are applying on the body, you can feel the pressure. So when the molecule strikes a body, that time what happens? The pressure is occupied by the body. The pressure is occupied by the body. How this pressure is
Properties of
Hello?
hello.
yes,
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 teacher.
you are audible.
Okay.
Properties of air. Characteristics of air.
Of
Air
air.
has weight. Air takes up space. Warm air.
About the different properties of air. So as we in previously we have studied two activities which proves that the air is having mass and air is having weight. So air takes up the space which is vacant. Okay, whatever space is empty, that space is occupied with the air. Okay, it may be warm air rises or cool air falls. So it may be warm, or the air which is present, it may be warm or it may be cool. Then atmospheric pressure. I told you, when the molecules strike a body, they create the pressure on that body, that is called as atmospheric pressure. So why do we need air? We need air for survival. So we need air for survival. Without air, we cannot survive. Okay, and applications for the properties of air. So we have studied that the air is having mass, weight. These are the properties of the air. Okay, so Bernoulli principle: an increase in velocity of any fluid always accompanied by the decrease in pressure. Okay, so the behavior of the fluid that was observed by the Bernoulli's principle. Okay, anytime the air moves and its pressure lower than when it is still. So you can see that air moves anytime and the pressure which is present in air, that lower down somewhere, and sometime it becomes still. Sometimes the air is faster and it moves the lower its pressure. When the air moves faster, that time what happens? The pressure which is exerted by the air, that is lower. And sometimes when the air moves lower, that time what happens? The pressure exerted is lower than, or we can say the pressure exerted is still. So let us see what is Bernoulli's principle. What does the experiment tell us? In this experiment, just a second. Effect of air on what we have taken water in one glass, one straw which is dipped in the water, and another straw through which we are going to blow the air on the top of the tip of the straw. So on blowing the straw, what happens? The air and its open end is pushed, and hence the pressure is exerted in the water, and which causes rise in the water. So when you blow the straw at the open end at the outside, what happens? The air pressure is exerted on the straw, which pushes the which is pushed away downwards, and the pressure of the air is created in the water, and which due to the pressure, what happens, the water comes out of the straw. Okay, as the pressure in the air at the upper end becomes less, what happens, the atmospheric pressure in the water cup is pushed. So when the pressure is lower down, what happens, the water is pushed from the other straw towards the upper side. And when the pressure is more, that time what happens, the water settles down, it does not comes up. The pressure is higher to its lower end, that by the upper direction, and the water comes out from the fountain. So how does the water comes out? When the pressure is higher to its lower end. So this is the lower end. When the pressure is high, just a second, I will show you. This is the lower end. When the pressure is more at the lower end, the water is pushed towards the upward direction, and it forms a fountain. So this straw fountain works on the Bernoulli's principle. So this is the principle based on Bernoulli's. Okay. So you are supposed to know about what is the effect of air pressure and how does the Bernoulli's principle act on it. Then the next slide, in the next slide, we are going to study about the water. Okay. Now, when you take out ice cubes from the glass, from the freezer, and you put it in the glass, so after few minutes, what do you see on the glass? You see water droplets. Okay, you see the water droplets which are collected on the surrounding of the glass. So what are these droplets? So as the water vapor in the air cools down, it condenses. Okay, when the water vapor cools down, it condenses and get transferred into water. So you can see the water droplets on the glass. As you know that when you keep the water inside the freezer, what happens? The water expands. Okay, it expands, and the volume also increases of the water when it turns into the solid. But when the solid is taken out of the freezer in a glass, you can see that the same water condenses and it gets forms again into the liquid form, that is water. And so you can see the water droplets on the outer surface of the glass, on the outer surface of the glass. So next is scattering of light. In this scattering of light, you are supposed to know when the rays of the light fall on a minute particles, that time the light spread in all the direction. This phenomena is called as a scattering of light. Here are some example. Here is one glass, and here is one glass. In that glass, you can see that the laser light is asked to pass from one side to the another side. So when the rays of the light fall on the minute particles, there are some minute particles of water in the glass, these particles spread the light in all the direction. This phenomena is called as a scattering of light. So what is scattering of light? If anyone asks you, you can say that when the light falls on object or falls on minute particles, and these minute particles spread the light in all the direction, this phenomena is called as a scattering of light. Even when a beam of light enters from the window towards our house, that time also light scatters. The ray which falls in our house with a small hole of light, that time what happens, the rays are spread in all the directions. So these particles spread in all direction, and this phenomena is called as a scattering of light. So this phenomena is called as a scattering of light. Then the next topic is
Transmission of sound. Now, how does the sound transfer? As you all know, air is very useful medium for transmission of sound. So when I am talking with you, what happens? My sound vibrates, and by vibrating, it hits with the molecules which are present in air, and that is how the air becomes the medium of transmission of the sound. For example, if a teacher is teaching in a class and all students are sitting in the class, they are all quietly listening the lecture, and that time when teacher talks, so what happens when she speaks? What happens? The molecules hit mixes with the air, and the sound is able to heard by you. So this is the transmission of the sound. One more example I would like to give you in this is, in winter season, you can hear the whistle of the train from very far distance also. This is why, because in winter the sound travels faster, and the air is the medium for transmission of the sound. Okay, as the density of the air changes, there is change in the temperature also. So the density of the sound increases in the winter. That is the reason why the density of the sound increases in the winter. Why it increases? Because if the density changes, there is a change in the temperature also. So in winter, the density of the sound increases. That is why we are able to hear the sound of the whistle of the train even very clearly, even if the train is very far from us. So this is how the sound is transferred, transmission of sound. So air is a very useful medium for transmission of sound. Then the next we are going to study about properties of water. In properties of water, as you know, water does not have any color. Okay, but water is having volume. Okay, it does not have any shape. It is having volume. If you take a container and you pour some water in that, the water will take the volume of that container. Okay, so water will take the volume of that container. Okay, now if the vessel is there, okay, I fill the vessel till the top of the bottom, and what I did, I made 3 holes in that vessel. So what will happen from first, second, and third? So the water from the topper surface will start moving faster than the hole which is at the lower. Why it happens? Because the air pressure is more at the top. Okay, that is the reason. Okay, so I hope you have understood till here. If you are having any doubt, so let us start density of water. Now in this experiment, what we are going to take, we are going to take some few objects and put it in the water, such as rubber, scale, pencil, nail, spoon. Okay, so many of the objects we have taken and we have put in the water. So what will happen? Some object will sink at the bottom while some object will float on the water. Now the objects which are lighter in the weight, they will float on the water, and the objects which are heavier in the weight, they will sink at the bottom. It is now you may have the question that, teacher, why ice floats on water? Now ice and water, they are same, but ice is a form of solid state. Okay, now ice becomes lighter than water when it is converted into solid. When the water freezes, that time what happens? It becomes more lighter than the liquid, and that is the reason why whenever you put a ice in the water, that time the ice floats on the water. Okay, the ice is lighter than the water, the most important reason, and the density of the ice is less than water, so the ice floats on the water. So we can say that the object which are having less density, they will float on the water, and the object which are having more density, they will sink at the water. Okay, so first I gave you the example of some objects that are put in the bucket of water, and some floats on the water while some sinks in the water. So the wood is having less density than the water, so it floats, while the rock which is present, which is having more density than the water, that is why it sinks. Okay, so density of the water means what? Density means the volume of the water. Okay, then we are going to study about the density of the water. What is the interrelation between the water? Now the volume, as you know, the water is having volume and it is also having mass. So how you're going to calculate the uh, density? Density is equal to mass upon volume. Okay, so density of water can be uh, classified as mass upon volume. Now mass can be measured in grams, whereas volume can be measured in cubic centimeter. Okay, so density can also be written as gram per cc. Cc is cubic centimeter and gm is denoted for grams. So gram per cubic centimeter is the unit of the density. So anyone if ask you what is the density of the water, so what is the unit of the water, so you can say that the gram per cubic centimeter is the unit of water. Okay, and it has the mass of 1 liter of water is having 1 gram, so the density of the water will be how much? Can anyone tell?